Welcome in, everybody. I'm Dr. Marianne Pinkston, and this is The Better Life with Dr. Pinkston. As always, I'm going to bring you some great information on health and wellness, things that you can do in prevention and taking care of yourself and hopefully better your life. And as always, at the end of the month, I bring in Ray Solano, a great sponsor and friend and mentor, who is with PD Labs up in Cedar Park, Texas. And welcome in, Ray. It's nice to see you again.
Well, thanks for seeing you as well. And this is a happy Monday morning after St. Patty's Day, right?
That's right. Did you do anything fun? We didn't.
I didn't do anything really fun yesterday.
Probably best, right?
I had some
Monday after.
As a specialty compounding pharmacy, my fun was checking a freezer late at night.
Exactly. We're talking about that and how expensive compounding pharmacy and upkeep and science everything that you do is just amazing. I'm so glad that you do it.
Glad somebody does it, right?
Glad somebody does it, absolutely. It's a great alternative. So I don't think people know a lot about compounding pharmacy and what that means. I think there's still some stigma and mystery about compounding pharmacy. Clarify for us while we have a shot.
It's important to realize that compounding pharmacy can only be realized as to the way pharmacy used to practice many years ago. It was personalized. It was a relationship with the practitioner and the patient that made individual prescriptions for the patient that was based on a written prescription.
Yeah.
And sometimes it was concocted, made. It was made on site for that patient. It wasn't until almost the 30s that big pharma manufacturer made capsules and tablets and sold it to pharmacies. So before that, all used to be done on site. So this is exactly what's being done now. They're personalized medications. It's using FDA-approved chemicals and drugs that are approved and putting into a form of a capsule, a tablet, liquid. In some places, it's injectable, nasal spray, all of the above. In our profession, the talent that we have is to be able to understand how to get those drugs into the body across cell membranes or across whatever membranes to get blood levels. Yeah. So that's where the pharmacology comes into, and sometimes a little bit of creativity and a little bit of understanding of how we can do it, because sometimes it's difficult for children. It's difficult for seniors. Mm-hmm. And some pharmacies do a lot with veterinary, with animals. So it's an important last mile that has to be done in medicine. And you can't personalize if people say, well, is it an FDA approved? Well, you can't personalize a dose for a patient and get approval for that dosage by a government agency in about an hour.
Right.
That's just not going to happen.
Absolutely.
So it has to be, you have to use professionals. Could you imagine being a surgeon and having to ask the government for permission to do a procedure prior to, as the patient's sitting there on a table? I mean, that's almost exactly the craziness that has occurred. You have to get permission for the smallest thing. So, but anyway, we're highly regulated. We're licensed in 47 states, and we follow all their rules, all the government rules, and at the same time somehow get a prescription out to a patient in a timely manner.
It's crazy because I tell patients, compounding pharmacies, that the fear mongering that kind of goes on behind it, people don't realize that you are more highly regulated than CVS or Walmart or any other pharmacy. I mean, by far, you have more guidelines and more rules and more, you're under the microscope more than any other type of of industry, I think, in medicine. It's pharmaceutical, the pharmaceutical sales and whatnot, that is done at their level. Once the drug goes out, the pharmacy really doesn't have that many guidelines to follow, except their counts and how the temperature of the refrigerator for the vaccines or things like that.
Right.
You guys are under the microscope, so you've got
all the time.
Yeah.
We're like small pilot pharmaceutical manufacturing firms. And the thing, unfortunately, is that we rub shoulders. Some people think that we can make commercial copies. We can make things cheaper. But making commercial copies of pre-manufactured drugs is not something that's illegal for us to do as well. So we have to come up with something unique that's different. Buying something that's pre-manufactured, well, that's up for the big box stores to be able to do. And I don't know if people realize it, but do you realize the small independent pharmacies, if there's a brand name drug, they probably sometimes can lose $100 a prescription.
Right.
So it's unfortunately the freedom, like you said, the freedom to practice medicine, the freedom in small business for independent pharmacies is really being challenged on a daily basis. So, I just talked to a colleague of mine last night. We have to think, be a little bit creative to be able to survive, because unfortunately, there's a lot of people who just don't want independent pharmacies to exist.
Yeah. Much like independent doctors too. I mean,
that's right. We're all in it together.
Corporate medicine is taking over. People do not like it and are searching for places where they can get good old-fashioned individualized care. Like you said, you used to walk into the pharmacy to go get your milkshake and talk to the pharmacist. You knew all your customers by first name. Those days are over. People getting what they need and being heard, being listened to is not a practice in medicine or in the pharmaceutical world any longer. So we are struggling very hard to keep that going out there, and so glad that you are doing it. Thank you for all the time and expense and everything else that you do. Every gray hair in your head, Ray.
That's right.
Is due to the compounding pharmacy world. I know for sure. But
as a side note, the reason why all the pharmacies were very popular in the 30s is because during Prohibition, the soda fountain and the specialty drinks that they were made were very popular. Right. And they were a place where women could be able to hang out and be able, because the bars were not something that they were appropriate to hang out for before a TGIA Friday came around. So that's where it all started. It was kind of the hangout and the soda jerk. They would jerk those dispensers, and they would make certain drinks that were non-alcoholic that had good flavor and they were tasty, and sometimes they had cocaine in it. Other than that,
the good old days.
It'd throw a little caffeine, but it was, it made them feel good. So anyway, that's what we do now, and the great part about it is working with you. We've come up with some amazing formulas and cocktails for men's health.
That's right.
That have all of the above. There's a void that unfortunately you just can't have one size fits all. There has to be personalized medicine. And working with you and our group, and now we've put together the men's health group in San Antonio, close to you, is really focused on all the areas of men's health. And I think that's really important. And we're really excited about having you come up here to our new facility in Cedar Park once a month and be able to do the same thing up here.
Yes. I will be going up to Cedar Park once a month and seeing patients and looking in on things up there. I can't wait. The Laval Performance Health Center has been a dream come true finally for you and Jim Laval. And up there is Cedar Park, if people don't realize, is near Austin, just right on the outskirts of Austin. And a beautiful facility. You guys have worked very, very hard. So there is a lot of great personalized medicine up there that Jim provides. And now I get to come in and have fun. So we've been working on men's health lately, which has been great. I've been doing a lot of Trimix prescriptions. You now have the LPT, or the lyophilized version of testosterone, an oral testosterone, making life easy for men. We have a lot of the Pocket Rocket, which is my favorite name in the whole world for a drug. So sophisticated. I tell my patients when we talk about Pocket Rocket, I say, I think of a campfire, a keg of beer, and a lot of jokes going around. Come up with that one, but it's descriptive.
It is. We joke about it, but, to be able to raise nitric oxide levels, to be able to increase centrally in desire with a specialty peptide, and be able to put in another hormone together, oxytocin, all together into one ingredient, it was something unique that we put together. And we're really, this is something that we created along with you to be able to get all those blood levels properly, to kind of reverse some of the aging process for men and also for couples that we found to be very helpful. So this is the reason why there's, as we get older, it's not one pill. No, it's not one simple blue pill that's going to make it happen.
Absolutely.
So this is the reason why we put all these couple of choices together and be able to have the consultation. We got a team of professionals, of pharmacists, and a specialty men's health technician that can be able to answer those questions all the time. And many of those questions can be answered with a free consultation or review. Trimixgel.com is a great start for people to get to, some simple questionnaire that we can start the process.
Yes.
And they get a consultation with you if they want. If it's up as a choice, and we can be able to personalize that prescription for them for the dosing. Absolutely. And be able to get them started. And also, you've had some great luck with nitric oxide supplementation, the proper ones. So all these, guess what? Their blood pressure goes down.
Right.
That's important, is to be able to target their overall health as opposed to just be able to take a simple blue pill.
Absolutely. And there's been some great studies about Cialis. And so Cialis is known as an erectile dysfunction medication, but there's some great studies now that show that it improves nitric oxide, which improves blood pressure, decreases heart attack and stroke risk, decreases risk of dementia and Alzheimer's, and some other issues by just amazingly getting blood flow to the right areas of the body. When you take something like Cialis, that is all over the body. It's not, injected into any specific area, but taken orally, so it goes all over. And even wound healing, it's been used in wound care to improve wound healing. Anywhere where there's oxygen and blood flow needed, then that has been a great. So there's a lot of uses for, Cialis and the medications for erectile dysfunction than just erectile dysfunction.
Well, that's right. Nitric oxide was won a Nobel Prize for unlocking that molecule. Mm-hmm. It is the cornerstone to cardiovascular relaxation of smooth muscle. Right. So if you can keep those nitric oxide levels normalized, either with supplementation or prescription medications, whatever way you want to be able to do it, it's a perfect solution. But you have to have trained consultants be able to really put together a program for patients. That's why we're really excited about having you come up into our facility up here in Cedar Park. And I know you're doing a seminar this weekend, and that's going to be recorded, and you can check it out on our website.
Yes.
LoveBioPerformanceHealth.com, and we'll be able to blast it out to you because we got a standing room only crowd this weekend.
The response was amazing. I'm so happy. So, yeah, we'll be talking about estrogen dominance, and if you guys can make that available, I'll make sure that there are links to that. And then in April, we'll be there for another seminar, talk a little bit more about men's health and the medications that are being made available. So you have a lyophilized form of testosterone as well. Is that correct?
That's right. We some people have a lot of spare time and play a lot of games. Unfortunately, we come up with, how about this? And we'd come up with new formulas. So we came up with took a very insoluble compound, which is testosterone cypionate. A lot of people are having to do injections, and even in your office, you would do pellets as an option. But there's some people that just may not be a fit. So we give people choices, and we came up with a special form that gets absorbed in a fashion that doesn't have to go through the liver. It gets absorbed to the cells. Special combination with a phospholipid fat that's chewable. Not as a gummy, but a dry form that's a very, very small molecule. So if you reduce the size of the molecule, the body can absorb it.
Right.
So we came up with a chewable form of testosterone. You can chew them a couple of times a day, and it gets that daily levels that people be able to personalize it, make it is something they can do on a daily basis and really get to that sweet spot themselves. This is, we find that patients get that feeling, the good feeling, and with this, probably a wakefulness and a brighter is important for men. It works on the brain. And this is what we have found, this chewable form makes people just feel better.
Right.
So we're really excited about it, and we're going to be launching it in our April 12th seminar, April 13th. And you're going to be talking more about it as well. These new delivery methods of drugs that are making it so important. It's the hardest thing is that everybody went to injections for these medications. So what we did is come up with technology and this is the hottest thing, to take things orally that are stable without injection. Right. And that's really the holy grail. Right. And we're really excited about launching it. And we've got the technology and partners that we put together to really put together a nice suite of these unique LPT products.
So with this last 30 seconds before we hit the break, where can they find out more information about the seminar and PD Labs?
Well, check out our website, pdlabsrx.com. That's pdlabsrx.com. You can always call us at 888-909-0110. And check out the website is pdlabsrx.com for more information on our seminars, our educational series, and also information that you can be able to share with your practitioner.
Absolutely. That's wonderful. All right, we're going to talk about a few specifics when we come back on the other side. Remember, you can find all of this information too at drpbetterlife.com, all of our previous shows for the last 2 years, and we'll be right back.
Hi, this is Ray Solano with your Healthy Choices Minute, sponsored by Prescription Dispensing Labs. New research has concluded that implementing dietary changes could prevent gut inflammatory processes involved in some chronic diseases. Modulation of your gut microbes through diets enriched with vegetables, legumes, grains, nuts, and a higher intake of plant over animal foods has a potential to prevent intestinal inflammatory conditions at the core of many chronic diseases. In short, the foods we eat and our dietary patterns have a major influence on our immune system that can cause many conditions we are suffering from today. Solution: try our OptiMeal Shake. Our team has developed the best tasting, healthiest shake you've ever experienced to control blood sugar and to improve your gut. Start your day today with a healthy choice. Call us today at 888-909-0110 for a free sample of the OptiMeal Shake. 888-909-0110. Remember, you have a choice in healthcare.
Welcome back, everybody, to The Better Life with Dr. Pinkston. I am Dr. Marianne Pinkston here with Ray Solano at PD Labs up in Cedar Park, Texas, and we've been talking about testosterone, which is always a hot topic, erectile dysfunction, and all the men's health issues that surround guys every day that they don't want to talk about, so we're doing it. And I know we are getting ready for a seminar coming up to talk a little bit about, and we were talking about testosterone and the lipolyzed formulation, but there's a lot of thoughts that testosterone will fix erectile dysfunction. That's not actually true, is it, Ray?
Well, the indication what is found many times is mood.
Right.
People that are, you've heard the expression "cranky old man." Mm-hmm. That's usually a low level of testosterone. Right. As we get older, unfortunately, we have our food supply and our lifestyle is that we make too much estrogens. Mm-hmm. And we make too much estrogens for men and women. Right. And many times 70-year-olds, men and women's testosterone levels are exactly the same. Right. And estrogen levels. So we're finding that our food supply has tremendous amount of estrogens. If you're eating the tremendous amount of chicken and poultry, it's just laced with so much estrogen products. We're finding that there's just way too much in our diets. Yeah. So unfortunately, the men that used to be able to work on the ranch or work on the farm, and when they're later, they would lift muscles. They would use all their big muscles on a daily basis, which raises testosterone levels. Yeah. Now we raise pencils and hit keyboards. Yeah. So what's happening is our testosterone levels, along with the endocrine disruptors of many of the herbicides. Right. One practitioner told me that arsenic levels were really high in some of the men. And I said, where in the world are they getting the arsenic levels? Well, in the atrazine. He says, well, they would take the golf tees and put the golf tees in their mouth, and many of the golf courses use those for weed killers. It was just never ends.
Can't get away from it, can you?
You can't get away. So testosterone levels drop. Yeah. And it's important to raise that up for prostate health because low testosterone feeds prostate abnormalities. And then also that imbalance of testosterone and estrogen is problematic, but also for mood and for depression. There's not many psychiatrists that are really testing estrogen and testosterone levels for these men that are hard depressed. Absolutely. So I think it's important to as a marker. Not everybody's the same, but you have to be able to screen them for these things. A men at a testosterone levels of 100. Okay. I don't think anybody's coming in with testosterone numbers of 100 and smiling.
No, not much. Not much. Need to be 900 to 1,200. And most urologists say, 600, 700 is okay. Not necessarily really 900 to 1,200 is where the ideal levels are. And no, it does not go down as you age. Naturally, that is just the subject of our, poor lifestyle that drives it down. That is not a natural thing. So,
and it's dependent on the person and how they're feeling, and it's really critical to personalize that medication for them. We don't want people. If you lather too much testosterone, the body does not have to react to it, and it puts it into departments. So it's important to ramp up those levels, and it works in concert. When you do hormone replacement therapy, it's in concert with everything else. Yes. We find people that do injections, they rage. You could just tell their levels just spike.
They make a lot of estrogen. It's estrogen that makes people agitated. So when you talk about the roid rage and people talk about being agitated on testosterone, first it's the type that they're using, but it's the fact that they're making too much estrogen. That's what, for all you guys out there who know your ladies, when they're not feeling so well, but that is an estrogen issue. That is not testosterone that does that. Testosterone makes you nice and cool, makes you feel good and happy. It's not something that's supposed to make you agitated like that. And the injections, I believe, help you make more estrogen. That's why they give so many men estrogen blockers with their testosterone, which is terrible, because the estrogen blockers, then they need some estrogen for their cardiac health. So it's like you say, it's a nice concert. It's a nice balance.
It is. It's definitely a balance, and you need a practitioner that you can trust. Spend some time with. This is not a 10-minute conversation.
No.
This is not an 8-minute conversation. This is complicated.
Yes.
And you have to be able to tweak the biological engines for these patients. So it's important. And this is not something that is inexpensive. Unfortunately, we have this feeling that insurance or medical care should be paid by somebody else. Mm-hmm. It should be paid by employer, or it has to be paid by insurance or Medicare. Unfortunately, that is not a good solution. I have never seen anybody that has relied on totally government insurance or that is healthy, unfortunately. Yeah. So it may keep you from dying, but it may not keep you healthy.
Right.
So whatever the definition of healthy is.
Exactly.
You know, if you got to be within your weight, you have to be able to just look at people. You can just tell their color, of their skin, and the quality of their skin, if they're healthy, if they can move their joints. Right. This is important. What's the speed of their gait is so important. Or sometimes just the tone of their voice. You can tell the strength of their body. Absolutely. So these are the things that, you look at, and we screen for as well, to make sure that everybody is as great as they can be.
Absolutely.
And so I think it's important today to invest in your health.
Yes, it is. And so we've got about 50 seconds here. Tell us where they can find you, me, and the Laval Performance Health Center.
Check us out at pdlabsrx.com, and our clinic site is lavalperformance.com. That's lavalperformance.com, and you see patients at our facility here in Austin. I guess what I'm getting back to be able to see some select patients on Friday as well. So we'll definitely be able to help as many people as we can.
That's the goal, absolutely. And thank you for all your help in doing that. So you can check out Ray and his information and all of our past shows over the last 2 years at drpbetterlife.com. You can find out lots of information. Got my blog and plenty of other guests. So drpbetterlife.com. And Ray, thank you so much for visiting in. We will see you guys again in about a month.